Senator Grassley, as always, good to talk with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank the NRA for being on top of Fast and Furious.
Well, every day it's something new, and today another new development in Operation Fast and Furious. This time, as you've heard, CBS has obtained these secretly recorded conversations between a gun dealer in Arizona and an ATF case agent talking about a third gun in the case of Border Patrol Agent Brian Terry. Your reaction when you first heard this?
Well, my reaction was, why didn't the reporter call me up and ask me my views on it? Because we've been very cooperative with them in the past, and they usually have us give us a link to their story, and they've avoided asking us, and they didn't give us the link that they normally give us, which is kind of surprising to me. But outside of that, what do I think? I think that we're in a situation where they claim that they gave the tape because of Brady rules, and that's true. They would have had to do that under discovery, but the point is that they don't have to do it until the court case comes, and it's going to be a long ways off doing that. And so we don't know really what their motive was. And it kind of screws up our investigations to some extent.
When you say screws up your investigation, what do you mean?
Well, we're going to have a questioning of that person, and we would hope to have her not know exactly what we knew. Would help us in getting answers to our questions, I think.
So you're talking about the ATF agent. We're talking about Hope McAllister. She was on that tape.
Yeah.
And what you're specifically, when you were talking about the motive, the Inspector General had this tape for several months and then decides to hand it over to the U.S. Attorney's Office, which is the big question because the U.S. Attorney's Office was a primary subject in this investigation. Makes sense to you?
No, it doesn't make sense, and we don't have an explanation for it except for the rule that I just gave you.
Right.
So we think that there might be ulterior motives along the lines of what I've already talked about, and I can say this, that the IG had the tape only for 6 days before turning it over, and you'd think that she'd want to keep it for a longer period of time.
Yeah. It raises all kinds of questions, and as you said, you've got to learn more about this, but the ongoing cover-up involved with this operation, as I said, every day it's a new headline. So how do you ever get to the bottom of it?
Well, first of all, don't forget, I have a pretty good reputation.
And I know you do.
Around this town of getting to the bottom of things, and every day there's a new lead, and we follow those leads, and we're going to keep following this lead until we accomplish two things. One, we find out who's responsible for this and hopefully get them fired. And secondly, to make sure that stupid things like this don't happen in the future.
Mm-hmm. The NRA's Wayne LaPierre has called for a special prosecutor. You think that's ever going to happen?
I don't know whether it needs to happen at this point. If it does need to happen, obviously, that's dealt with mostly leading to prosecution, And I need to know more and get more facts before I could draw a conclusion about a special prosecutor.
Mm-hmm. Senator John McCain, he has sent a letter to Senator Lieberman asking for the Homeland Security Committee to hold a hearing on this whole operation. Your thoughts? I mean, is that ever going to happen?
Well, if it did, it's more apt to happen under Lieberman than it would be anybody else in that caucus, because he tends to be more independent, as he's serving as an independent who labels himself that way, as opposed to being a Democrat. And I think it would be a good thing, but I'm going to not worry about that as long as ICE is on top of it.
Right.
As long as we're getting our information and we've got ways of forcing the Justice Department to give the stuff that we need.
Yes, and I've talked with Congressman Ice's office just recently, and they told me that the next hearing they expect is going to take place in October. Who would you like to see on that witness list?
Well, it'd be good if we could get the top people in the Justice Department to come. and talk, because we haven't heard from them yet at this point.
And when you say top people, who are you talking about?
Older and the deputy that's involved, U.S. Attorney's Office as well.
Lanny Brewer?
Yeah, Lanny Brewer, U.S. Attorney's Office too.
Yeah. And, you know, this recent shuffling, I mean, do you think that's going to make a bit of difference, or do you just see this as the same old shell game?
Well, I think it's going to shut some people up that maybe wouldn't other be so willing to talk, and there may be some inferences in some of this movement that you not cooperate as much as you did in the past. Now, that's a supposition on my part. I don't have anything in the last 2 weeks that this has gone on to say that that's the situation, but that's the thoughts that go through your mind, understanding that when you know the culture of a bureaucracy, and not just Justice Department, but a lot of bureaucracies, that's what their moves are intended to accomplish a lot of times.
Let me ask you, Senator, when you mentioned the CBS releasing those tapes, interfering, you know, with your investigation, do you think the fact that they are made public is going to cause you a problem?
Well, I can't say yet, but there's people that I trust that are investigators that indicate that it could be a problem.
Because as you said, now they've shown your hand, right?
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting because I was speaking with a commentary writer yesterday for the Arizona Republic, and he was talking about here, you know, here you have all these whistleblowers who put their careers on the line, and now they have to pay out of their own pockets for an attorney, and you have an administration that seems to care less what it means to these agents when it comes to service to country.
Well, I think that that's a sad commentary for public service, because all these people are doing that are cooperating with us are doing what the Constitution implies, that there ought to be, Congress ought to be entitled to all the information that we ask for, except for privacy and national security.
I guess what he was saying, though, is, you know, they really put their lives out there and their careers out there, and all they want is the truth, and it's getting harder and harder to get to.
Yeah, that's right, and that's why I keep saying that whistleblowers and cooperators like that are really honorable,
yes,
patriotic citizens, and they're really treated like a skunk at a picnic.
Yeah, no, very true. And, you know, Congressman Issa also said, you know, he was planning to hold 2 more hearings before the end of the year, and I don't doubt, I mean, as you said, you get to the bottom of things, and I don't doubt that you're going to do this time around. But do you really think that, you know, by the end of the year we'll have the answers that you want, considering how much stonewalling and cover-up is going on?
We may not have the final answers we want, but don't forget, every day we're getting some additional information.
Yeah. Well, Senator, thank you so much. I know you're busy, but we can't thank you enough for your work on this, and we're all anxious to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All righty, thanks.